Will you kill my stepmother for me? The question came from a small, trembling voice at the same time the little body pushed through the iron horse bar's swinging doors.
Listen up, everyone. This little one here has something important to share with us all tonight.
7 crumpled dollar bills fell from tiny, dirt-streaked fingers onto the sticky floor. The room went silent like someone had taken the music out of the world. Richard, the chapter president, was the first to move. He crouched so his scarred face was level with the girl's. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Maya," she whispered. Maya lifted her chin just enough for them to see the dark crescents under her eyes and the bruises blooming along her jaw. "Where did you get these?" She looked at the floor instead of at him. "My stepmother. She hits my mom. She hits me when she drinks. Tonight was worse." Richard's jaw tightened. "Where does she live?" "The blue trail at the end of Maple Road. 2 miles that way." Every head in the bar shifted. Every biker knew Maple Road. It was the kind of place where the streetlight worked only when they felt like it, where gunshots were a sad kind of weather, and where police cruisers went in pairs. Tank reached for his jacket. "Let's go handle it." "Not yet." Richard's voice cut the excitement down. He let the weight of what he was about to say hang in the air. This little girl walked 2 miles in the dark with $7 to find killers. That means she's desperate. Razor spat on the floor. Cops don't help in home cases until someone's dead. "Then we do it our way," Snake muttered, tugging the knife at his belt. Maya's small eyes widened, and hope and fear wrestled across her face. Richard made the call that would decide everything. Get document. Doc wasn't a doctor anymore. He'd been a paramedic once, before his life tipped into different kinds of trouble. He knelt, felt at Maya's ribs, and went pale. "Broken ribs," he said. "Maybe internal bleeding. She needs a hospital." The bar erupted, men swearing, fists clenched. For a heartbeat, everyone smelled iron and violence. In the biker's language, the stepmother had just signed her own death warrant. "Please, please save my mom," Maya begged. "She's going to die tonight if someone doesn't stop her." Outside, sirens screamed and passed down toward Maple Road. Conversation froze. Richard's phone rang. He answered, his face closed like a lock. "There's been a shooting at the trailer park." Maya fell to her knees. No, my mom." The rest unspooled fast. While Maya had wandered to the bar, her stepmother had climbed from bottle to rage and begun beating Maya's mother with a baseball bat. A neighbor, an old Vietnam vet, had heard the screaming and come over with his pistol. He'd fired once to stop the attack, striking the stepmother in the shoulder. Paramedics, police, and now social workers swarmed the place. But that was only the beginning of the problem. Child Protective Services said Maya had to be taken into foster care immediately. The law said so, the social worker explained, citing paperwork and procedures. Richard stepped forward, a shadow bigger than his years. "Back off," he growled. The social worker stiffened. "Sir, interfere and I'll arrest you." "Try it," Richard said simply. 15 patch jackets shifted like a wall closing in. The bar's bench turned into a defense line. Sheriff Johnson, on the scene, had a county to keep and an ugly headline to avoid. Arrest the bikers and spark a war, or find a way around the law. He chose the tightrope. "Everyone calm down," the sheriff said, and then reached for his phone. 10 minutes later, Richard's wife arrived. Maggie, a nurse with a spotless record and a quiet authority. "I'm a certified emergency foster parent," she told the social worker. "I'll take custody tonight." The social worker blinked. Maggie's credentials were real and her signature clean. It was irregular, but it was legal While forms were filled and temp custody granted, a different kind of justice moved through the crowd. Richard went to the veteran who had fired the shot. The old man's hand shook like branches in wind. "You did the right thing," Richard said, pressing a card into his palm. "Lawyers taken care of. Tell him we paid." Maya's mother, shaken and bruised, was released after questioning. She hadn't stabbed anyone. She'd only tried to defend herself. She had nowhere to go. The bikers patched that problem in minutes, pooling $500 like a miracle. But the stepmother would be out on bail the next morning. She threatened to come back. Her brothers, men tied into the local meth trade, would come looking for vengeance. It was then that Maya, very small and very brave, took a hand from her pocket and passed a battered phone across the table. "My real dad gave me this before he died," she said. "He told me to record when bad things happen." On that phone were 17 videos, dates stamped, faces unmistakable, months of abuse, the stepmother's hands and slurred threats captured in shaky light. Evidence, plain as day. The prosecutor's expression changed to one of cold calculation. Suddenly there were charges on his desk that the DA could not ignore. Bail was set high. The stepmother was charged with dozens of counts. The arms of the law tightened, but the danger wasn't gone. Her brothers showed up the next day at the motel where Richard's wife had set Maya and her mother up. There were 3 shadowed men who carried threats in their belts and meth smoke in their eyes. They wanted revenge, wanted to drag the family back into the gutter. They chose the wrong motel. 15 motorcycles idled in the parking lot like an iron tide. Bikers filled the spaces between cars, their presence a statement louder than any gunshot. The brothers took one look and decided whatever it was that had been worth coming for wasn't worth the odds. They left town the same night. Some whispered they were long gone to another state. Others joked they'd been swallowed by the desert. Richard only said, "They left." The stepmother took a plea deal, 8 years behind bars after her brothers disappeared, and her bail stayed where the prosecutor wanted it. The veteran who had saved Maya's mother was cleared and quietly honored by a small committee of grateful neighbors. The bikers paid his legal fees and went back to what they did best, showing up silently and without applause when someone needed them. Years later, those 7 crumpled dollars were framed in the iron horsebar above the dartboard where the light never quite hit straight. Richard asked Maya once why she kept them. She was grown now, with a small boy of her own on her hip and a laugh that had nothing to do with fear. "Those $7 bought me an army," she said. "They bought me guardian angels who look like demons." She meant it as gratitude and a lesson. Sometimes the people your world fears most understand violence so well they learn how not to use it. Every Thursday the club still met in that same bar. They told the story now and then, not as bragging but as a line drawn loudly between what they were and what they chose to be. And whenever a child walked in, dirty, exhausted, clutching a crumpled bill, the men remembered Maya and the night they decided to be heroes instead of killers. Maya visits Richard every week. Not because she needs protection anymore, but because family is sometimes a patch on a leather jacket, a handshake, a quiet promise kept. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who know the cost of violence and choose to pay it for others. If you like stories that hit hard and leave you with something to think about, click subscribe and show your support.